Hold up, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play the roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Double M Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
Max Holloway defends the BMF title and decision. This was the last dance for the Diamond. Let's talk about it.
We watched a fight last night with Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway, and there's a number of things that did stick out. We had originally reviewed the fight, and we wanted Dustin to win, even though we did say it was going to be a tough fight. We wanted Dustin to win, obviously, because since this was his retirement fight, we wanted him to go out on a win. We wanted him to go out in a blaze of glory, all that good stuff. But unfortunately, that didn't happen for the Diamond. There was a nice little tribute at the end for him. A lot of people showing their respect, including Max Holloway. You know, hats off to him for doing that. Now, as far as the fight, the most crucial weapon, and I pointed this out to my bro here, as far as the fight, was Dustin's jab. Just Max Holloway could not find the defense for it. The entire night, Dustin was landing the jab at will. Every moment he got and he doubled up the jab, he landed it. He landed it perfectly. And then sometimes when he doubled up the jab, he would throw in a cross in there or an overhand, and it worked phenomenally for him. If I'm being honest with you, I think if he would have done that a lot more, I think he would have had a lot more success and maybe even won the fight. On the other hand, Max Holloway had a kick to the body that was doing great work, landing the whole night, just like Dustin's jab, making it to the body. Dustin actually acknowledged the landing a couple times to the body. Apart from that, great footwork by Max Holloway. There was a point in the fight, I believe it was the third round, where his corners told him stop walking backwards, taking a step back when you're encountering, instead roll off to the side. And Max Holloway actually listened, did that, and every chance after that they got, he instead of just backing up, he would roll off to the side, and that would throw off Dustin Poirier's rhythm. Finally, the combinations. Whenever Max Holloway threw, he was throwing combinations, landing them phenomenally. Don't get me wrong, not everything landed, but a good portion of those combinations landed. And it did seem to sting Dustin quite a bit when them combinations did land. Early on in the first round, when Max Holloway did knock down Poirier, I was a little worried. I thought maybe this is going to be an early night for Dustin, and you hate to see him go out like that, but he managed to get it together. And in fact, in the second round, Dustin turned it around and actually knocked down Holloway. Holloway, I feel like, recovered a lot better than Dustin did in each of their fights. And if I'm being honest with you, the second round is really the only round that I could potentially give to Dustin. Don't get me wrong, even that round is kind of hard to give to Dustin. Overall, I do agree with the unanimous decision. In fact, before they actually called it, I posted on our Facebook about how I thought Max Holloway was going to win via unanimous decision, and it ended up being true. Listen, man, just the whole night, Dustin seemed one step behind Max Holloway. Max Holloway seemed like he was just quicker. It seemed like his punches were throwing Dustin off balance just a little bit more than on the other hand. Don't get me wrong, Dustin caught Max Holloway with a few good punches throughout the fight, but it just seemed like Max Holloway was having a lot more success with that than was a Dustin Poirier. I think overall it was a great performance for Max Holloway. He looked really good. He actually looked kind of big. I know that he just moved up to the weight class, but he actually looked kind of big for the weight class. Maybe it's, just he's able to hold it a lot better. Maybe he can just not have to worry about draining himself as much. But he did well. I think Max Holloway did well. I think Dustin did well. He recovered well. But yeah, he just looked a little bit slower than Max Holloway. He looked a little bit less on the button than Max Holloway. It just seemed like no matter what Max Holloway did, Dustin just could not keep up with it. Overall, it was a good fight. It was definitely after the second round, you got a lot more of a sense of, okay, this is going to go the full 5 rounds. But overall, I do think the right decision was made. Max Holloway just looked crisper on everything he was doing, the combinations, the jabbing, the kicks, the speed, the footwork. Overall, I think he had everything that Dustin had in spins. And again, mind you, we wanted Dustin to win. I wanted him to go out in a blaze of glory, but got to give it up to Max Holloway. He did his thing, and I'll be honest with you, I personally feel like he dominated most of the fight. What do you think about that, my man?
I do think the story of the night definitely for Dustin was to not try and I think Dustin, for the most part, I think was trying to outlast the fight, but at the same time trying to throw in his damage to Max Holloway as well. And to be fair, some of it actually did stick, mostly again in the third round where he actually knocked down Holloway and actually tried to get in the guillotine choke. And second round, sorry. Second round where he knocked down Holloway and tried to go in for the Gilly choke. And credit to Dustin Poirier for living the mean. 41 career choke attempts by Gilly. None of them landed. Basically a career record for him. But anyways, I do think for the most part, yeah, it just seems like by every single metric, Dustin Poirier was just outmatched by Max Holloway in terms of speed, in terms of damage, significant strikes. I think Max Holloway was landing, I think it said in the metric, I think in either the second or the third round, Max Holloway landed 50% significant strikes versus Dustin Poirier's, I want to say 23, 24. So I think at that point, even if Dustin Poirier tried to get him with the double jabs and try and get Max Holloway, which I do think it would have worked if he would have stick with it. But I think for the most part, like, yeah, you're doing damage, but only by so much. You're going to be trailing behind by so much damage at that point where, Dustin can give as much as a fight and he was. And props to him. He gave as much as a fight as he could. But I do think the emblematic... if there's one thing emblematic of the fight that happened, it definitely happened in the last 10 seconds. And I said this was going to happen in our initial fight reaction where Max Holloway was going to point down to the middle of the ring signaling, yeah, it's about to be that time. Dustin Poirier looking at the 10 seconds and thinking to himself, might as well. This is going to be my last fight. We might as well have one more go. Both of these gentlemen went down to the middle of the ring. I counted Max Holloway delivering 10 punches to Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier only landing 2, most of which were kind of misaimed because he wasn't really aiming all that much. He was just hunkering down for defense purposes and then going in for the clinch just to basically outlast a round. If that is nothing emblematic, or if there was nothing more emblematic than what happened in those last 10 seconds, I do think that was basically one to cap off. This was basically, it was emblematic of what happened the entire fight. Dustin trying to land as much damage as he could in only moments in which he could. Max Holloway landing every single damage by every metric. And Dustin just wanted to outlast those last 10 seconds. And look, I'm not gonna knock Dustin Poirier for doing that. Again, it's his last fight. He probably wants to go out healthy, and if he wants to go out on his terms, that's his prerogative. But I do think, yeah, it seemed like for the most part, he was trying to outlast the fight. Max Holloway was trying to put him away, but as respectfully as he could. And he wanted him to go out like a warrior, and credit to him. But Dustin, it seemed like he was there to try and make a statement, not necessarily win the fight in and of itself. Maybe win the fight, but I do think, yeah, this is just basically trying to give one more highlight reel out to the fans, but also trying to go out healthy. So I do think he was in a little bit of a conflict with that. Again, shout out to Max Holloway for giving his best a performance he can and bowing out, realizing that this wasn't his moment. This was Dustin Poirier send off, not Max Holloway's highlight reel. So shout out to him at the very end for giving it up to the Diamond.
Yeah, man. I think again, we all wanted to see the Diamond go out in a blaze of glory. We all wanted to see him win the fight. We all wanted to see him really just pull off one final miracle. But, Max Holloway said himself, I'm sorry that I had to be the villain tonight, but I got a job to do. And he did his job, man. Max Holloway, again, overall, at least by my account, in every metric, he was beating him to the punch. Better footwork, better combinations, more stinging punches. Everything, significant strikes, whatever, every metric, it just seemed like Max Holloway was just one step ahead of Dustin Poirier. And again, the first two, obviously, that they had, Dustin had beaten Max Holloway. So this is also a good way that Dustin was able to lift Max Holloway right before he decided to bow out. So listen, it is what it is. Shout out to the Diamond, great career, great highlights, great resume. Doesn't matter who says what, he did his thing out there. And we look forward to seeing what happens next for Max Holloway. He made a little bit of a call out at the end there. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And
until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.